could raise and who could join with him. When he talked about giving a sort of suggestion to the DG Health Services, how can you expect External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj or Rajasthan Chief Minister Basundhara Raj Scindia or to some extent Chief Minister of Maharashtra? I'm speaking openly on this. When they can't take actions against the Vyapam scam against the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister, how will you expect the country to react? A top cardiac surgeon's advice to bring far-reaching changes. That is why I outlined this in my opening address. Brand India is definitely winning. Dr. Shashank Joshi spoke very nicely on this because he's very positive. He made some interesting points. But what Dr. Kausal Pandey has spoken is actually the real voice that should be heard. But unfortunately in India, it will never happen. We'll have multiple panel discussions. We'll debate on this and we'll fight on this. So many debates and discussions will happen. But I can tell you, if persons like you, and I'm so privileged, sir, that you are with us now. If we have people like you, or someone like Mr. Khanna, who is also spoke about CSR in the hospital, if these could come together and bring out a change, it will be an interesting thing, and India will come of ages. That will be the real healthcare innovations. That will be actually brand India winning.
Yeah, I think on that note, saying that people of repute like you, doctor, and a lot of people over here, with the power of communication, I think it's got a lot of power there. I think we can make significant headway. We need to be positive about it. On that note, Satya, if you can hand over a moment to Dr. Kausal Pandey. I think it's been a riveting talk, so let's give him a real applause for that.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
You spoke
This
very
was
well.
a God-sent opportunity. Thank you very much.
We now move on to the panel discussion on will innovations in India drive the next generation of global cosmetics dermatology trends. As Satya Brahma and his event managers set up the stage for the panel discussion, it gives me an opportunity to introduce the panelists to you. We've already heard Dr. Viral Desai speaking and Dr. Manoj Khanna speaking earlier on, so you've been introduced to them, you've heard them, they are the first two panelists. We also have on the panel Dr. Sumita Shankar, plastic, cosmetic and wound surgeon, CEO, Asclepius Surgical and Wound Management Center Private Limited. Her professional achievements include breast augmentation, including silicone implants, fat transfer and use of stem cells, platelet-rich plasma, PRP that is, female breast reduction, liposuctions, including laser, ultrasound, power-assisted techniques, male breast reduction surgeries, buttock augmentation surgery, proficiency in rhinoplasty, nose correction, venous artery malformations, abdominal plasty, tummy tuck, to name just a few of the long list. Our panelist after Dr. Sumita Shankar is Dr. Nilyini G. Dr. Nilyini G is a prestigious member of the American Association of Aesthetic and Cosmetic Physicians and member of Cosmetic Dermatology Society India. Dr. Nilyini has been accredited with national and international reputation in various advanced skin and cosmetic dermatology procedures. She started Blue Skin and Cosmetology, the first of its kind, in a high-profile area of Hyderabad, and it's going great guns. And the aesthetic caliber of Dr. Nilyini is actually augmented further by the patient reviews she gets about Blue Skin and Cosmetology, and she is certainly a face to reckon with in the field of aesthetic and cosmetic dermatology. And we've got a couple of more panelists, but as we go on, may I also invite first Dr. Satya Brahma to come forward. He'll be moderating the discussion. And joining him, may I request Dr. Viral Desai to come forward. Dr. Viral Desai, please. Dr. Manoj Khanna. Dr. Sumita Shankar. Dr. Nilyini G. You can come forward, please. Our next panelist is Dr. Poorva Shah, a qualified dermatologist and cosmetologist in private practice in Pune. She is also on the faculty and a consultant dermatologist Ruby Hall Clinic in Pune. Her practice is a blend of conventional and traditional medical dermatology and modern techniques. Dr. Shah utilizes the latest treatments and technologies to enhance her patients' natural beauty. Dr. Shah has recently undergone advanced training at New Jersey, USA for vitiligo micropigment implantation, three-dimensional reconstruction of areola, and three-dimensional reconstruction of eyebrows. She has recently been presented with the Rising Star Scholarship Award at the 23rd World Congress of Dermatology held in Vancouver. And
Who is missing here?
our final panelist is Mrs. Kiren Shrivastav, CEO, Ms. Kiren Shrivastav, CEO and founder, Molecule Communications. Kiren Shrivastav is the key business strategist and a versatile media expert. We've seen her interacting with these speakers earlier on. After garnering enough experience and knowledge in event, films, and media management, Kiren displayed rare business acumen by setting up this boutique media services company in 2007. She spearheads the functioning and growth of Molecule Group. Her dream is to make this company known not just for its work, but for its approach and professionalism. And she aims at getting the IPO of Molecule Group, which encompasses actually communications, media relations, marketing, motion pictures, and television. So with that introduction to the entire panel, Satya, it's over to you for the panel discussion. Please take it forward.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, please keep your mobile phone switched off. This is a televised debate which will be aired on the television. Please keep it on the silent mode, please. Hello and welcome to the 8th Annual Pharmaceutical Leadership Summit and Business Leadership Awards 2015. We have been discussing a lot about the healthcare innovations in India. And presenting you today is a high-powered panel who will be discussing about the skincare innovations in India and whether India could be the next generation leader when it comes to the cosmetic and dermatology. We have some of the biggest names in the cosmetic and dermatology industry. To my extreme left is Nilyini, who is the cosmetic dermatologist and founder of Blue Skin Cosmetology. Dr. Sumita, who is the plastic and wound surgeon. And to my left is very dashing Dr. Desai, hair transplant surgeon, as well also plastic surgeon. To my right is someone who is accompanying with me from the media line is Kiren Shrivastav, someone who understands the pulse of the communications industry, hopefully will give presentations on the aspects what the outside world thinks about. And to her right is much acclaimed Dr. Manoj Khanna, as you've heard already the presentations in the earlier part of the day. And to my extreme right is Dr. Poorva Shah. She is a cosmetic dermatologist from Pune. She is also the faculty member of Ruby Hall Clinic in Pune actually. Starting you first, Poorva, if I could ask you, because since you are the youngest member and you are sitting with the stalwarts of this cosmetic dermatology industry, I can virtually see the entire India's top brains are here in cosmetic dermatology. What is that big takeaway that you have taken in your career so far now that you have learned and that you have missed and that you would like to learn?
First of all, I would like to say that, as you rightly said, I am amidst all the stalwarts, and I'm much younger than all of you. But what I would like to say today, number one, as far as your question goes about innovations in India taking a global stage, as what I understand it to be, I definitely feel it does. It will. Because when I think of global, I'm not thinking of just the US or Europe. There are so many other countries like South America, West Indies, almost the whole of Africa. And they're all looking up to India, as Dr. Joshi rightly mentioned, that brand India has arrived. And even though it may not have arrived for Europe or USA, it's definitely arrived for all these other countries. As far as being a dermatologist is concerned, these countries are definitely looking up to us, surely because their skin type is so close to ours.
All right, if I could ask.
So I just want to make one more
please
point. So yes, we are definitely, but having said that, When you talk about innovations, you're talking about making a change in something that is currently existing, adapting or improvising on techniques and technologies that are currently existing. And it's very important for our industrial growth, for the growth of healthcare. It reduces cost. It brings you more improved and more specific techniques and treatments for our patients here. But to be able to actually come up with these innovations, I feel that our government has to have policies that are research oriented. You know, when you look at any economics or business model, they have a linear model where you have research which originates in universities, institutes, or laboratories. That is then taken to the pharma industries and then to the market, which is our patients. But for this to happen, research needs to be very easy. It needs to be people, doctors especially, at the level of doctors. It needs to be something that every young doctor, like myself, has to be encouraged to do research.
All right, you
That
made
is
your
when
point. What
your
you wanted,
innovation
what
will
you
happen.
essentially are saying that you need motivated spirit and you want that innovation to drive in you
Absolutely.
by learning all these aspects.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you, Dr. Khanna's very controversial question, which I think I should ask on this particular forum. The field of cosmetic dermatology is so complex. Especially for me, actually, I'm fascinated with this actually, because a lot of people want, they want to look young and they want to look handsome. Lot of things are happening. Spas are being attached to this cosmetic industry. Why the treatment process are different from one to another? Why there is not a universal practice? I do understand there is no regulation for this, but why do you think the treatment process differ from one person to another? And what is that factor that should be there in the country that should unite all of us?
See, the big problem we've had is that we have been trying to ape the West too much. Now, I really detest it, but patients abroad, they're called clients, they're not called patients. A cosmetic dermatology or a cosmetic surgery patient is called a client and not a patient.
Correct, yes.
I can never imagine that I'm doing surgery on someone or treating someone, he's a client. It's not a service that I'm giving to be paid. You see, what my teachers taught me and which I think should be implemented, unfortunately, that is not being done today, is that when I see a patient and I doubt what treatment should I do, I would think, like even an appendectomy, to give a small example. Would I do this if it was my son? Would I do it if it was my father, my mother, my wife? If the answer only is yes, then I should do that treatment. I should not do that. But nowadays, the treatment is so much commercial. And the commercial angle coming in with the spas and the big houses has really ruined the scene. And at least Indians, the lawsuits are much less.
Are you of the, are you of the opinion that the spas and all the beauty centers that is being attached to the cosmetic industry should not be there?
They should be regulated. I'm not saying they should not be there. There should be a doctor who's qualified to do whatever
Or are
should
you
be done.
advocating to the health ministry or the concerned authorities that there should be a separate entity for this?
There should be definitely a separate entity regulated by a body where people who are trained professionally and who are qualified can do it, and not any Tom, Dick and Harry doing it. You call a person and train her and say, do lasers like this, and you call the patients and do laser. And your interest is, how many bucks have you got? That has to stop if that thing in India has to improve. You see, we Indians still, we have many less lawsuits because we find our patients as patients and not clients. There's that communication, that feeling of goodwill, that feeling of understanding, that feeling of a guardianship when you're doing a surgery or a procedure on a person. That is going away because we're aping the West. Unless that changes, the scenario will get worse, and the government has to come in and make changes and see to it that this stops. Otherwise, we are in a mess.
Okay, you made your point. It's a fantastic point is made, and this brings me to the next level of discussion to ask you, Kiren, here.
Can I add to
Yes,
that, sir?
very quickly, yes.
Recently, what I read in the newspapers is something about the Clinical Establishment Act, the CEA, which I think is luckily going to be implemented at some point soon, which basically, the crux of it is that it's going to differentiate qualified MBBS, dermatologists,
Maybe
or
you can
any other faculty.
Let's be lucky
from-
first.
Okay,
Let's
yes.
be lucky first. Let the government do it.
I agree. I agree.
It's happening for
But
so many years, nothing happens.
In the hopefulness of it, if that does happen, it will really ease us from a lot of our tensions and problems that we're facing with our patients, because I once got a patient who came and said to me that, Madam, I will take your medicines after I ask my salon parlor wali if I can take this. I have been told that by a patient, and I would probably owe it to my young age, but it's ridiculous to hear a statement like that. I said, please, madam, आप
We
उनको
need
पूछ
some
लीजिए."